When was the first time you realized love wasn't what you thought?
First time I realised love wasn't what I thought was in my first relationship, and I was constantly questioning if I was in love or if I was just calling it love. And having that dilemma in my head wasn't what I thought being in love would be like. And now, with the comparison of the relationship that I'm currently in, it's very obvious to me that I didn't feel love back then, but now I do feel love. So I think it's very difficult when you're in your first relationship and it is the first time you're experiencing it, and you've been in that relationship for a longer period of time. Obviously, relationships mellow out as they get older, but you're not sure if that's, oh, well, the love's gone now, so the relationship's done, or actually is it just maturing into something that's more sustainable? And finding that balance is a challenge that I didn't think would come with love. Maybe I did, but it was definitely a noteworthy moment. What about you? Have you ever had any moments where love wasn't what you thought it would be?
I think when I think about love and expectations of it, it's when you realize that love is more of a choice and a daily action towards yourself or towards other people. I think when I was younger, I was idealistic about love, that it makes everything easy. Love justifies everything and you can overcome any challenge. When in reality, love is a choice. You have to choose love every day. You have to choose to embrace. You have to choose to act out of love towards yourself or towards other people. And that through life has been my biggest challenge with love, or biggest notion that maybe challenged what I thought love was, you know? You mentioned about your previous relationship, of sort of the expectations you had around it when you were younger. Do you want to share any of those expectations or maybe judgments that you thought love was when you were younger?
It's difficult looking back because I'm obviously doing it, hindsight's 2020, and I'm just going to say loads of ridiculous things now, but in the moment it was, yeah, well, that was how I was thinking. And I always have been a relationship person. I've always just wanted to be in relationships. I think they're just better all round. I'd rather have one person that I can trust than loads of people that don't know me, you know. And so I went into it with a very long-term mindset straight away, which I think was part of the problem on why that relationship didn't work, because I didn't know how heavy to go in. Like, no, I want to show that I'm committed to you and all of this stuff. So I went overboard. Like, I moved in to her university place within 4 weeks of knowing her. And we had a joint account within 4 weeks of knowing each other, not even dating, just knowing each other. And that's obviously all stuff you want to achieve in a long-term relationship, but acknowledging the fact that different milestones in the relationship mark different points. So I think there's a thing in How I Met Your Mother of, oh yeah, no, we're 6 months in and we're signing birthday cards together or whatever. Like, no, the previous time counts, but that doesn't apply to my situation. But that was an example of a milestone of, like, if you're signing birthday cards together, that is a moment in the relationship. Moving out is another one, but it was like I wanted the end destination of, yes, I'm in a long-term relationship without going through the long-term bit of the relationship. I hear a lot of people say, oh, I'd be great at relationships 5 years in. It was like, well, yeah, of course you would, because you would have had to know the person 5 years, go through the highs and the lows, get through the arguments, get through the easy bits. You know, you've just done it all. And yeah, specific scenarios on my last relationship, as I say, we're moving in too early, just because I was so focused on that end destination. I just want to be in a long-term relationship. Interestingly, with my current relationship, Sophie, we did it sort of slow and fast at the same time. So we didn't actually officially call our relationship a relationship for a year before we actually got together. But at that point, she was already living with me at my mum's, and we'd gone on 4 holidays together, and we were co-signing birthday cards already, and it was, yeah. So, but we went slow because we didn't call it a relationship, so therefore it's going slow because there's no pressure, right? But obviously at that we were exclusive from the moment we met. So,
Do you think the idea of pressure or labels on a relationship are helpful, or do you think they cause unnecessary friction?
in my nature, I just don't care about labels. Like, Soph could be my sister for all I care. Like, it's just a name. It's words don't really mean anything to me in that. It's the feelings you have between each other that matter. And if you want to label it, you can label it. If you don't want to label it, it doesn't mean that what you have doesn't exist, you know? So I guess that's sort of a pussyfoot answer, but it's like I think they mean something between, as long as it means something to both of you, that's what matters. If you're just calling yourself boyfriend or girlfriend because you want other people to look at you as boyfriend or girlfriend, like, probably not worth it, you know? But you probably would only do that if you were just virtue signaling or whatever, rather than actually being in a loving relationship.
You've spoken before about you can't choose what you love. So do you very much think that when it comes to romantic relationships, you can't choose that either? It's just a feeling. It's just an overwhelming sensation that we experience. Or do you think you can choose who you love?
I think you genuinely feel attraction. I think that's the thing you feel. I think love is something that develops over time, because you can't love something that you don't know, or somebody that you don't know, because a massive part of love is trust. So I see love and trust as synonyms almost. Whereas attraction is the initial burning flame that gets you together pretty much. And then after that, it's, I actually really want to care for this person. I trust this person, and whatever advice they give me, I'm really going to take on board because I genuinely believe that they have my best interests at heart. So yeah, what was the question again? Sorry.
Talking about attraction versus love then. So attraction is, like you said, is the overwhelming sort of rush of emotions that come forwards. Naturally, we can get into sort of the chemical that are released when you're attracted to someone. However, is there a difference between attraction and love? Do you need attraction to feel love, or can one coexist without the other? How can we take our relationship from attraction through to love? Because I think maybe attraction's maybe easy. You know, attraction in the sense that I can walk down the street and find many beautiful people. Maybe there's a couple that I will feel attracted to, but do I love them? No, because that takes time. You've got to know them. You've got to trust them. You've got to build that connection with them. So what is it? What can you do to take connection through to trust, intimacy, and ultimately love? Is there a linear pathway?
It all comes down to your connection with that other person, because you can be attracted to somebody that's really bad for you. If you find somebody physically attractive, or even their personality attractive at the start, and then after you've hung out with them for 3 weeks, you realise that they're an arsonist, it's very easy to not fall in love with them. On the flip side, it's a very easy through line if your personalities are cohesive, because you are just going to get on. And then you need to get through your arguments. That I think is what makes or breaks relationships. It's a bit like business. It's like if you can get through the really hard times and you're still in business at the end of it, no matter how ugly or pretty it was to get through that moment, it's like you're still in business at the end of the day. It's like in a relationship, if you can get through the arguments, no matter how tough they are, you're still in business. You're still in a relationship. And I think that is probably, people expect relationships to be a lot easier than they are. And like, I don't have to put up with this. And no, that's part of it. If you count, you can probably, if you look back over all your relationships, there was probably a numberable number of arguments, as in probably less than 10 that you can point to and be like, that was a bad argument. It's like, it's moments, right? So if you can look back over a relationship and be like, okay, we only really had 4 arguments. If we could have just got through them because 99% of the time was actually really cool, then when you go into the next argument, because they're going to happen, it's 2 people living together at the end of the day, or like, you know, being together, you put a lot less weight on the relationship's arguments because you know that at the end of the argument you're just going to come back together. It doesn't, it's like, okay, well, we're just doing this for what reason? Like, you're feeling upset or I'm feeling upset, okay, but I won't be feeling upset 3 weeks from now, so why am I feeling upset now?
I agree. So you're saying that love is great, love is absolutely a powerful emotion, but it's the daily actions, it's the choosing to prove to someone that you do love them, and it's how you come through together as a team, more so than just saying, well, love is enough and that's it, that's the end of it.
Yeah, I mean, love isn't ignorable. So once again, going back to my relationship right now, it's like there's nothing anyone can say to me to make me not trust and love Soph. So and that includes her. So there's nothing she can say that's going to make me stop loving her, which is mad because she could pretty much do anything at this point and I'd still be here. Is that laziness? Maybe. Just don't want to be in the dating scene. I was talking about that last night with her family. Oh, the dating scene is rough, apparently, talking to her brother.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course. We can get into your...
That's not.
Your stories. Yeah, no, it's, you know, you've got to commit to it, but at the end of the day, if you don't put unnecessary pressure on yourself or the relationship and you just accept the fact, like, I'm with you no matter what. And there's so many, I think in our relationship, there were definitely moments where we both tested each other to almost check loyalty. And I called Soph out on it when she was doing it initially. I was like, you know, I'm still going to be here, right? And she was like, no, everyone leaves. Like, yeah, everyone leaves until the one person who doesn't. And I'm here, you know? And even like we had an argument 2 days ago, bad one. And it sort of continued into yesterday. And then at the end of yesterday, we came to go like, well, that was a waste of time, wasn't it? We're still here. And I like that because it's a strong test to say, well, look, we just went through another one and we had more ammunition against each other because we've known each other longer. And we still came back together. And, you know, better than ever. It's just part of it. Relationship goes in phases. It's just like the stock market. It goes up and down, up and down, up and down. But eventually ends up a lot higher.
I think what you said there is really insightful. You know, Soph mentioned everyone leaves. And in reality, it takes one relationship to work. But when you think about the span of a lifetime, we don't have many relationships sort of on average. So it's scary in the sense that only one has to work. But if you are learning a new skill of learning to ride a bike, learning a new language, it's repetition, it's repetition, it's repetition. And you understand that you're going to get things wrong. But when it comes to love, we hold ourselves almost to a higher standard, to a relationship where we are going to make mistakes, and then we might get down on ourselves. We might get frustrated with the other person because then maybe not as developed or as in touch with their emotions or their feelings as yourself. And I think we get so overwhelmed with the fact that love has to be perfect. Love has to be idealistic, this fairy tale that we get told. And in reality, all it needs is one person to work with you together to make it work. But that's quite scary because we don't have much practice. We don't have much evidence to say that it works. And when you've got people that you open up with and emotionally trust and let in, and then it doesn't work, rebuilding from that is hard. Very hard. I think there's Dr. John Gottman. He can predict to an extent of certainty whether someone's relationship is going to last by how they interact. I think the 4 things is criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling. Do you think any of those are a challenge in your relationship, if you don't mind me asking? Criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling.
What's stonewalling?
Stonewalling is complete shutting down of emotions. For example, That was a big problem in my last relationship. I would often stonewall, I'd often shut down. And I can say I felt awful for it, but in reality, I should have changed sooner. If I had love and cared for this person, actions speak louder than words. And unfortunately, shutting down caused a lot of friction. Stonewalling is withdrawing into yourself, not allowing someone in. And when you are trying to bid for that person's affection and they're withdrawing and they're not present with you, I cannot imagine how painful that is. And that is something I do regret from my last relationship, is not looking into that sooner. And I can justify it with its past trauma, its whatever else it might be. But in reality, it's, again, love is a choice. And unfortunately, I chose to protect myself rather than to protect the relationship. So again, you've got criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling. Criticism, if I see something in you that I don't like, I'm going to jab at you, I'm going to criticize you, I'm going to put you down. Contempt is just that lack of caring, complete contempt towards you. Defensiveness, if I come to you with a problem, are we going to discuss it openly and honestly? Or am I just going to snap at you because I'm perceiving that you're coming to me with an issue? And again, stonewalling, as previously mentioned.
Yeah, so we have all of those in our relationship. I'm not even joking. So I talk to Soph a lot about I'll criticize whenever she does something. But the thing is, it's once you've been with somebody a certain level of time, you know how they'll take certain things as well. So I could say something very seriously. She'll know I don't mean it as seriously as I say it. Or if I do mean it that seriously, then it doesn't really matter because we're still going to be together at the end of it. So it doesn't seem to matter. Although that's probably how a lot of these things go unnoticed for a long time and then probably blow up. Stonewalling, I do when we're in arguments for sure. Because I can't match your level of anger or emotion because I'm a very unemotional person anyway. I can't cry. Not a medical issue. It doesn't work. I don't know.
I will argue that you can cry, you choose not to, or you've repressed emotions.
It doesn't happen. I get a lump in my throat and ready to go, and then nothing. But yeah, I feel things. It's whenever I'm feeling really sad, it's more like the wind's been knocked out of me rather than I need to let it all out. If that makes sense.
And then that plays into your relationship by almost wanting to protect yourself?
Maybe. I don't know, because I do feel everything that everyone feels. It's I'm not very good at showing it, which actually I think hurts the relationship because Soph can't always see how much something she said hurts me. / she can't see how happy something makes me, But yeah, so we definitely criticize each other, but because of our outlook on criticism, it means that we just become more what the other person wants. It's all just learnable skills. It's Soph wants me to shave my beard. I like my beard. I don't want to get rid of my beard. Then she'll just criticize my beard for weeks. And eventually I'll shave my beard. It'll grow back.
Or when she threatens to dye her hair.
Oh, God, she was going to dye her hair brown again. Oh, that is the worst thing. If you have brown hair, get it blonde. If you're a girl, there you go. Dating life hack. It's true. If you wanted to date me, that is. But I'm off the market, so don't try and date me.
So don't worry about dyeing your hair.
Yeah, just ignore everything I just said. So that's criticism. Contempt is what? Holding grudges? Yeah, I don't hold grudges, to be honest. I think... I just don't have the energy for it. For anyone, really.
I couldn't imagine being in a relationship with a person you love is holding something over your head.
Yeah.
I think that must be an extreme challenge. Imagine trying to connect with someone and all they want to do is hold something against you. There was a legitimate mistake. Naturally, there's things that you can't move past. If you've cheated in a relationship, in my opinion, that relationship should end.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's something either you choose to get over it, whether the man's cheated on the female's cheated on the male. Either you choose to work through it as a couple and you don't hold it against that person, or you end the relationship. But to hold it against them is just weaponizing them. And in my mind, shows you've got one foot out the door.
Yeah, I mean, to cheat, something's obviously gone wrong in the first place as well. So fundamentally, there's something wrong. So that's criticism, stonewalling, holding grudges.
Defensiveness is your last one.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain questions that can automatically make you feel more defensive, but just because of context. So, I mean, the easy one is, who are you messaging on your phone? It's like instantly like, well, nobody. Yeah, but it's, so that I suppose would be a defensive response. And it genuinely is nobody. But it does make you think, like, what's that person thinking I'm doing? Like, are they insecure with, like, the relationship because I'm messaging people because I have a social life, or I'm just typing things in ChatGPT? So then it makes you think, okay, well, maybe I need to make her more secure in the relationship. Okay, how do I achieve that? And then you start going down that road of thinking.
To interrupt you there, I think what you've just explained is a very healthy way to handle a challenge, rather than getting angry because Soph's maybe asked who you're messaging. I know you've pulled out a scenario, so it may not be completely valid, but rather than getting angry or getting extremely defensive, you're like, you know what? How can I help this person I care about feel more comfortable in the relationship? Again, I think it comes back to that love as a choice. You choose in that situation to want to help Soph feel more cared, connected, and in tune with you.
Yeah. I think that's the key to it, though. It's got to, like, you've got to be a person of service to your other half. That's your job. It's like, who are you if you're not that? Because I'm giving her nothing that she couldn't get from parental relationships or friendships or work colleague relationships. You know, it's like, no, I've got to be the person that helps you through your emotional stuff in a way that other people can't, because that's what separates me.
Again, Dr. John Gottman says a good predictor of a relationship success is how you handle your partner's bids for attention. Now, bids for attention can come across in many different ways. They can be criticism, they can be defensiveness, they can be, hey, let's go out for a meal. But it's how you handle that. It's how you work together with that. It's a great predictor of a relationship. For instance, Soph getting a little defensive. That's a bid for attention. She wants to feel cared. And you're showing her that she has reason to feel cared, that you do love her and you do want to invest into the relationship. So bid for connections are huge. And unfortunately, we would love to live in a world where everyone has the ability to say, hey, babe, I feel a little disconnected from you. Can we create some time? But again, that's a bid for connection. But sometimes they're more subtle. And sometimes we don't even know that's what they are. You know, getting angry at the other person can be a bid for a connection. I think we've got to really understand ourselves and how we show up in a relationship to understand the best way to thrive in that relationship as well. You know, have you ever looked into attachment styles?
Well, love languages.
No, slightly different. So you've got attachment styles, which is secure, anxious, avoidant, disorganized. Secure is you feel comfortable in a relationship. You've had good models, so you feel very comfortable. You know how to engage in a relationship. Anxious is the person going to leave me? Oh my God, I did something wrong. Like, am I doing enough? Like, can I help? What am I doing? Oh my goodness. Avoidant is, well, I'm just going to like, well, I'm not dating this person. I don't like, it's not a thing. It's not real. Like, I'm just going to ignore it. Disorganized is I really want to connect with this person, but I'm absolutely terrified of being connected to this person. Have you ever looked into them? Does one resonate with you? Do you think there's one that you're like, maybe I'm a bit of that, maybe a bit of this?
I think, well, I've never thought about it before. I'm definitely more secure. I think Soph is probably secure / anxious. And yeah, interesting.
For me, I'm disorganized. I would love, or I really thrive connection. I really want to feel connected with someone. But as soon as I feel connected with someone, I get terrified.
What does it mean for you to feel connected with somebody?
For me to feel connected with somebody, I want them, or I want myself to be able to show my most authentic self. So my goals, my aspirations, my positive traits, but as much so, if not more, my fears, my holdbacks on myself, the way I talk, my self-talk, my negative drivers. For me to feel connected means that wall that you put out, that slight facade, that slight role that everyone plays, some are more, some are less, some have none, some have complete stonewalling of their actual reality, for that to dissipate and to feel completely vulnerable with that person because they know me at my truest self. Connection for me is someone that knows me honestly, as true as I can be. That's connection for me. What's connection for you?
Well, it's interesting because while all of that is true for me, I guess they're probably on a lesser scale just because I don't show my emotions like you do. Like you're an emotional driven person, if that makes sense.
I am.
I'm more of the, I don't know, robot. So I think all of those things are important in connection, but also the acknowledgement of the fact that you're two individuals and there's no pressure for you to become the same person. I think I said this on an earlier podcast, you're two people walking on your own parallel lines and there's electricity bouncing between the two, and that's what the love is. And then as soon as you start to not care about the other person, or you, I don't know, do things that wind them up, you will start to grow apart. But remembering that why you are together in the first place and are supportive and you care about each other's goals and you've both got things to achieve and things you want to do and similar interests and things, that pulls you back to the middle. But you're not ever trying to be up right next close to each other, because then you're going to need space and you're going to get pushed apart with a vengeance. You don't want to be too separated from each other because then you don't have the closeness or intimacy or anything that you need in a relationship. So you want to just remain as these two individual people that are growing together on a parallel line. And that's the thing I've got in my head whenever I'm thinking about my relationship, because it's like, oh yeah, but that's fine that I wouldn't want to do that because we're not trying to be the same person. We're two different people living our own lives that happen to love each other.
I would argue that's a very secure way of someone approaching relationships. You know, I would argue that the anxious is almost codependency. So where one person will excessively rely on the other person for validation, for identity, and often at the expense of their own well-being. But then you've got the avoidant, which is almost the complete opposite, which is that I don't need anyone. I am my own person. I have complete autonomy. And again, I think everyone shows up very differently in relationships. What you're relating to is absolutely true. People should be on their own journey and you should grow together, and that electricity between you is very much what keeps you guys connected and growing together. But I know there's people that sacrifice their sense of self to get into a relationship because they want to be validated by this person they've put on that pedestal.
Yeah, it's dumb. Don't do that.
Don't put someone on a pedestal.
No.
Why not?
Because it's dumb. You're instantly creating a separation between you two. It's like saying, I can't wait until I'm happy. So that's dumb. Don't do it. Because you are happy now. You don't feel happy right now. Okay, maybe you're not happy now, but accept it. You know? Does that make sense?
So putting someone on a pedestal means that you'll treat them differently or more than, rather than understanding that you are just a person, they are just a person you can meet build a human connection.
That's the reality. It's like putting somebody, it's like famous people do it with famous people as well. Put them up on a pedestal. It's like, have you ever met a famous person? I guarantee you they're shorter than you expected them to be.
I doubt it, because I'm short.
Well, you're short, but they, you know, The Rock's what, 6'2"?
Massive.
Yeah, but you see him on the screen, you're like, oh, he would be so much taller than me. You feel like you'd look up at him. And then, like, if you see him in person, he's like just a normal guy, normal height, obviously jacked, but and it like Tom Holland, that all of any famous person, it doesn't matter. It's like if you put them up on a pedestal, for some reason you genuinely feel like they should be bigger in real life. It's like, well, no. And in a relationship, if you put the other person on a pedestal right from the moment you meet them, you're constantly going to feel inadequate and probably slip into being the anxious type of attractiveness, whatever it's called, and more likely to feel like you aren't ever going to be enough and they're doing you a favor by going out with you. And that's not any position to start a relationship. You want to see each other as absolute equals. And your area of expertise intellectually can be different, that's fine. You can have completely different interests, that's fine. But if you are both equally respected in your own fields, and equally driven, and have similar goals in relation to personal life, for example, Soph has her career in childcare and child support, almost said child rearing. That's probably not the correct term. And I have my goals in YouTube and whatever. But we have a joint goal of moving to Cornwall, and we have a joint goal of having a family, and we seem to now have a joint goal of owning 2 Highland cows as well. Which actually is more exciting the more I think about it. So it has become a joint goal. Maybe some chickens as well, so we've got eggs. But that image of the country house in Cornwall, that's what we're driving for. That's what we're going for. And once we achieve it, we won't be like, okay, what's the next thing necessarily? Because that is the next thing at that point is, how long can we hold in this feeling of, oh my God, we've achieved this, and we're just living that life. Like, that is where the enjoyment is, and that the journey is, how long can we keep this going? I don't think there is any happiness to be derived from achieving the goal. I think that's a thing we make up in our heads.
I think it was Chris Williamson that said, or maybe Alex Hormozy, sorry, you have achieved your goals already. You have proof that you have wanted a goal, achieved the goal, and it has not made you happy. Goals don't make us happy. Working towards something does.
That's it.
Again, I think Mark Manson has a very similar mindset, which is the actual love and the joy comes from the work towards the goal, because life inherently has challenges and pitfalls. You've got to choose what you're going to love to do more than the outcome itself. But coming back to love, you've mentioned very briefly love languages. Do you know yours, and do you think they're helpful or hurtful in a relationship?
I mean, it's useful to know the other person's. Like, Soph, I know, is touch and me cleaning.
So acts of service.
Yeah, literally. Whereas mine, I know, are little simple things like, do you want a cup of tea? Things
Acts
like
of
that.
service.
Acts of service as well. But also probably touch. Yeah. And maybe food as well. But I don't know how much of it is I don't enjoy doing the thing. So if she does it for me, then that just saves me having to do it.
But is that not love?
Yeah.
Her recognizing something you don't want to do and doing it out of love, because she might not want to do it either.
No, she doesn't, but she does it anyway. I'm sort of living the high life.
Is that not love? Her actively doing something that she doesn't want to do so you don't have to?
Yeah, literally. So yeah, that would be the love languages, I suppose.
Yeah.
What would you say yours is?
Oh, I know mine. Physical touch is up there. It's number 1. It's super up there. 2 and 3, pretty much they flip-flop every time I do them. They're slightly underneath love. Is either quality time or words of affirmation. And then right down the bottom is gifts and acts of service. They might as well not even be on there. Like, they're so far removed. It's just those 3 up there bidding for attention.
You don't care if anyone does anything for you, like makes you a drink or...
It's something I've worked on.
No, but that doesn't make you feel anything. It doesn't make you like...
The reason
like the person more.
The reason I've struggled with it is through my upbringing, I've become hyper independent. I've had to be my own provider. I've had to be my own emotional support network. So for me, if I want a cup of tea, I'll make a cup of tea. And it took me ages to understand that that was someone showing love rather than them just being like, he wants a drink. You know what I mean? So it took a very long time. The same with Yeah, acts of service, gifts, even the same. For me, it's like, well, ironically, I like gift giving, but it's not how I really show love either. But I took a very long time to understand that someone might show love by being like, I thought of you when I bought this thing. And I was just like, I don't want the thing. What is this? Yeah. So, yeah, I think can be very helpful to understand your partner, ultimately how you receive love and how you give love as well. Again, I very much give love by physical touch, words of affirmation, big time, and a little bit of acts of service as well, picking up on the small things. But I think they can be very helpful to understand yourself and the other person, but I don't know if they're a framework to build your whole relationship around.
No, I think there's just things for people to discuss who have too much time on their hands. Hence why we're doing this podcast.
Last question regarding romantic relationships for you, Will. Have you ever mistaken being needed for being loved?
No. Hopefully not.
Do you think it's possible to be mistake being needed for being loved?
Yeah, I think a lot of people who are wealthy probably run into this a lot. It's like the girl that you're dating might actually need you to live because she can't go out and earn the same level of money or whatever. And guys will interpret that as, oh, she really loves me. But really, is she just there because she wants the lifestyle that you can provide? I don't think I've run into that. I think I'm very lucky because I found Soph before YouTube started popping. I know she's here no matter what, through the highs and like she literally met me freshly dumped and freshly fired. It's like she saw me at my absolute lowest. She saw me in January and February of this year when I couldn't afford rent and I had to like go into my deep savings and just basically clear myself out just so I could pay the rent that month and keep up with her, who's got the nice stable job. And now I'm doing a little bit better. It's great because I'm able to say thank you in terms of date nights and things that do cost a little bit more money. But that's fine because I know that she had my back when I needed her to. And now it takes the pressure off her, the fact that I'm earning some money so that she can, if she wants to leave her job, she can leave her job. And if she doesn't want to leave her job, she can continue working. But having the option to is the win. So many people were like, oh, if I had £1 million, I'd quit my job tomorrow. Then what are you doing? You're sat at home doing what? You're going on holiday? Okay, cool. What are you doing on holiday? You're sat down. Okay, so you're just sat, you want to just sit in different locations? Is that your your dream is just to sit in different locations drinking drinks that you can get from Tesco's? Dumb, honestly. People who... your dreams are dumb, in my view, because they are. Like, people just dream of doing dumb. Like, what's a dream that you've heard somebody say? It's like, that's just dumb. It's a dumb dream.
I think dreams are relative. No. I think everyone has different dreams and goals and aspirations, and I don't think it's our place to judge them unless it comes to the sake of hurting other people.
Yeah. I mean, I would say if you were given £1 million and you choose not to work, you are not doing anything to benefit humanity, therefore you're hurting people.
Agreed. I would agree with that statement.
So for the sake of being given £1 million and just sitting on different beaches around the world, you've got money and all you've decided to do is just sit on different coordinates. That's all you're doing.
So you're saying if someone was gifted £1 million, they should be using that to benefit humanity?
Yeah. We're all going to die, so just improve everyone's life that's around you.
I'll come back to you when you're a millionaire.
Yeah, well,
You can actively make my life better by giving me that $1 million.
Yeah.
You all heard it.
It's just my honest, I don't care. Like, it's really interesting because all my life I've been like, 10 million is the goal. Like, I've got all my goals. Oh, actually, it might have been 20. I think it's 20 million was the goal. And to own a 16-unit building was a goal, and own a house by age 21 was a goal. Age 21 was because that's when my dad bought his first house and I didn't want inflation to outgrow the family. Turns out I'm not that magical. But I'm probably still going to own a place before I'm 30, and that's pretty good going these days because most people don't move out, like leave the family home until they're in their 30s. So I'm happy with that. But the 20 million goal, I was like, yeah, that's the one. Like, because then I'll have out-earned like everything the last 2 generations of my family on both sides have ever made, and that makes me like the winner. But I just don't care. Like, as long as you've got enough money to live, like, your life doesn't change. You still YouTube. I got 35 million views on one video, and then had subsequent videos 10 million views, 10 million. Like, that's decent money. And then brand deals start coming in, and you're like, that's really good money. I still wake up in the same bed, still have to go out in the morning to get my pan and chocolate, still have to edit videos, still have to make the videos. My life hasn't changed at all. It's just a number that's changed.
You've just chose a life you love.
Yeah. I mean, if I think the number one, everyone says, oh, go on a gap year. But I think people are so forced to feel like they should be doing something in that year. I don't think you should. I think your gap year should be taken and you do nothing. Because whatever you choose to fill your time with is what you wanted to do when there's absolutely no pressure. And that's literally what I did when I left accountancy. It's like, okay, well, if I just say to myself, because I'm not somebody that can do nothing, like I have to do something. What am I going to fill my time with? And I found myself doing YouTube and tennis. I was like, okay, cool. Which one's got an unlimited earning potential? YouTube. Therefore, I'll do YouTube. Oh, wait, hold on. I still get to do tennis as well because YouTube allows me to do that. It's like, you know, that's not only advice for how to love your life, but also how to just be immensely successful.
It's also how to love yourself, isn't it? Which is another form of love. You know, we've gone into romantic relationships. We've been talking for a long time about romantic relationships. When it comes to love as well, there's multi-layered. It's self-love. How do you love yourself? How do you show up authentically for yourself? Do you love yourself? Do you take care and take time to look after yourself? Do you treat yourself like someone else that you love, or do you just disregard your emotions? Self-love is this innate battle I think we all are born with. And I think some are better than others. Some are really good at it. It turns into narcissism and and arrogance. Is there any part of yourself that you've struggled to accept? Any part of yourself that you struggle to love and authentically accept and bring into yourself?
Anything I've not liked about myself is usually me lacking in a skill. You probably know where I'm going with this already. It's like, if you don't know something, learn it and do it and do it and do it and repeat until you get better. So a big thing I don't like about myself, and what I also don't like about other people not liking about me, is how disorganized I am. I'm very, very scatterbrained. Like, and concentrating on one thing or even more than one things in my life is just not something I'm naturally good at. I know that I could be better at them if I wanted to dedicate the time to it, but the reality doesn't impact me. It impacts people around me. So I've been selfish and be like, I'm just going to focus on the things that I care about, which is YouTube. And I've done very well just because of that singular focus. I'd love to be able to balance life better in terms of, I know that if I was more organized, I'd be able to get far more done in a day. And then I'd be able to balance the time I spent with Soph better, because I wouldn't feel like I have to be working all the time. I would feel like, no, I've done work for the day and now it's time to spend time with Soph, rather than like having one foot in, one foot out all the time. It's like, yeah, we're hanging out, we're on the sofa watching Netflix, but I just got an email through my phone. I'm going to check it now because I don't know what it could be. That makes it very difficult to love myself, because I know that I'm letting other people down, and that is a struggle for me. I don't like the idea of letting people around me down. Also, try and decide if I want this on the internet or not. When I was a kid, I was ill, and the doctor saved my life. Ever since that moment, it's And I know I was only 8, so it's probably like, oh, well, what sort of impact does that have? You're only 8, like, so what? Just rationalizing the fact that every single day that I wake up and I'm able to just live my life and I don't have a crippling disability of any kind, which is, I should have many. Like, the two things I have lost the ability to do, a lot of it is emotional control and emotional access, which is funny because I can't cry, and that's probably why. And then knowing like what's appropriate for certain situations as well. You learn that one very quickly because the people around you constantly say you can't say that. Whereas the emotional one is like, it's very insular, so it's difficult to do. But there's constant pressure on my back of like, okay, if all of that money and time was spent on getting me just to be alive, which is the minimum standard for achieving anything, I better show that I'm going to be thankful for that in terms of achieving some big stuff. And I've got that on my back every single day. So that could be the pack of wolves I spoke about in earlier episodes. But that's like my constant thing. So in terms of self-love, it's very difficult because I feel like I'm working towards something that I'll never be able to achieve because I'm not ever going to be good enough for the fact that somebody decided to save my life over maybe somebody else in the ward. And like seeing people die around you when you're 8 is like bad. Or not seeing, but knowing that there was somebody in the room and then the next morning they're not. Like, you know where they've gone. And then new people coming in and you see them and, you know, you're still there and you're watching the world go around. Like, okay, well, they've just had a life-changing thing and I'm still here fine, objectively. And so it's very difficult to love myself when I'm not being a peak performer because, you know, maybe if that doctor hadn't done anything for me and had spent twice the amount of time working on the other person would have done better and might have gone on to do even better stuff, but they just didn't make it. It's like, that's a big thing that I struggle with.
So I'm hearing gratitude, but I'm also hearing an overwhelming sense of guilt.
Yeah, I suppose. It's most of my memorable life, because I don't think you remember much before you're 8, has been knowing that I should probably be dead. Like, I still can't believe that I'm alive every day. That I know the chances of being born and a human are like 400 trillion to 1. But what are the chances of being born a human? Everything says you should die and then being saved. Like, the chances of that are just stupid. there's no way to work that one out. So it's very difficult to be comfortable doing nothing when you know that, wait, so a doctor just saved me so I can just sit down and do nothing? Well, that's a waste. He should have, you know, spent time on another person if I'm just going to do that. So I'm going to prove to him, and, you know, it's why I want to, one of the reasons why I want to raise my social profile so that I can do a massive, like, global newsworthy charity event to raise money for the hospital that saved me. I think that would be great. Like, if we could raise 20-30 million for that hospital, that would be insane. It'd be really good. And I think also, I wonder if there's a way to privately, like, give all, like, nurses and things, like, a pay rise. If you say, look, I just fund an extra £5 an hour on top of every nurse's minimum wage or whatever. It's like, that would be awesome. It would change all of their lives and give them hopefully a little boost of like, oh no, we really are appreciated, and this one person was able to do something because the whole network of the NHS and everything came together and was able to save this one person's life. It's like, hopefully that would then inspire other people that have been saved to do a similar thing. Yeah, just working towards that. I'd love to do a big charity gig with like all the biggest names. I think we could raise a lot of money. And that'd be nice. But until I achieve it, it's like, just got to keep going. Because otherwise it was a waste of time saving me.
So it's not that pack of wolves. It's maybe shame, it's maybe guilt, and the fear of not becoming or not growing into something that you think you should be?
Yeah, I mean, I just don't want to be a waste of space. You know, why save a waste of space? You don't. If I was going to choose between two people, like two people hanging off the edge of a cliff, you've only got time to save one. Do you save the person that's actively taking strides to change things about the world and make things better, or do you save the person that just sits on the rails all day? I'm sorry, but I'm always saving the person that's doing something. You know, it's like, well, if the doctor was given that choice, which you're not as a kid because you don't know which one is going to go on and do something, it's like, well, I want to give them the hindsight of letting them know that they did do a good job because they saved the right person. You know. But you can't ever save the right person. It's like you just wish you could save everyone. You can't.
No, you can't, can you? You spoke there about self-love and almost the other side of the coin of selfishness. So self-love being how you give to yourself, how you show yourself that you care, how you treat yourself every day. But we've also mentioned, and you've mentioned, that can sometimes come at a cost of relationships, friendships. When it comes to self-love and selfishness, where do you think we draw that line? What's your opinion on where that line gets drawn? Because for me, when it comes at the expense of other people, that's where the line should be drawn. And also when it comes at the expense of social connections. My opinion is we live in a world right now where it's very much inwards. You should be achieving X. You should strive for Y. You should wake up and do this, that, and the other. And I think it's very easy to get caught up in that, in the comparison culture of someone's done this, someone's done that. When in reality, social connection, community is how we live longer, live healthier, live fuller lives. For me, if self-love comes at the cost of social connection, that's where a line should be drawn as well. Is there anywhere where you draw a line between self-love and selfishness?
It's really difficult because whenever I'm being selfish, I'm really working towards this bigger goal of just getting big enough so that I can make a big impact. So where do you draw the line on being selfish? Because if you've got to really lock in and just do something which only outwardly looks to be benefiting you in the short term, in the long term, I know what I'm going to do with all of like the earnings or whatever, the exposure that I get. I know I'm going to help a lot of people, but yeah, it's, as I say, that's one of the things I find really difficult is finding that balance of, I know Soph works 14-hour days and then she get like, that's a long period of time where she's off and I work for those 14-hour days, but she gets to do that 4, sometimes 5 days a week and then 2 days off. Whereas I'm, in my mind, just for me to be at baseline level, I might have just about done enough today. I need to be doing that 7 days a week. Very difficult to have a relationship where you work 14 hours a day, 7 days a week and don't implode. So yeah, you've got to have definitely self-awareness is a number one thing. And that's, maybe this is all why I've got good perspective on life, because it was close to not having life. I think maybe you do see things differently. I don't know. But again, it's all with hindsight for me because I don't remember much about the actual ordeal. But
emotions get stored in the body though, don't they? That's why there's so much trauma that people never know that dictates and pull the strings behind them.
Yeah.
And it's only when you do the work inside and you release the emotions inside. I think that's why at the moment breath work is getting such an incredible reputation, because it allows you to release the emotions that physically get stored in your body. So it's definitely something that, yeah, continues to work on. So as much as maybe you don't remember the ordeal, the situation, that trauma is probably very much stored within your body.
Yeah, probably. But I can't feel the emotions anyway, so it's all good.
But then self-care can also turn into perfectionism. Always wanting to be perfect. You know, I'm not myself if I don't do XYZ. I can't authentically be myself if I don't do these daily goals that I've set out for myself. And I think in this, again, comparison culture that we can have unattainable daily goals when in reality, sometimes all you need is to get up and say, today is going to be a great day, and just get on with your day. I think perfectionism can play a huge part in self-care, self-love, and self-awareness, when in reality, self-love is really just not a destination. It's just a daily practice. Just waking up every day and choosing to love yourself. Do you treat yourself like someone else that you love? Do you treat yourself like someone that is worth loving? And I believe that's a really great place to start if you're feeling lost, if you're feeling overwhelmed, not sure where to go. Do you treat yourself like someone that is worthy of love? And if the answer is no, then maybe you need to start there.
Yeah. Definitely.
So there's a saying, well, you need to love yourself before someone else can love you. Do you think that's true?
No.
Why not?
Because I love Soph before she loved herself, for sure. But I do think other people loving you can help you learn to love yourself. Are you more attractive to potential partners if you're comfortable with yourself and how you are when you're being authentic to how you should be? Probably. But I wouldn't say it's a prerequisite. Like, what's it to love yourself? What does that even mean?
What does it mean to you? I'll tell you what it means to me.
Yeah.
To love myself means to give myself space.
In what way?
For me, I've grown up where I believe I need to be perfect and 100% flawless in everything that I do. And if I have not achieved 100% perfection in 100% of people's eyes, I failed. And that was my monologue, my dialogue internally for years. My whole childhood, my whole adolescence and into adulthood. It's only now I'm starting to change that. So for me, self-care, self-love is very much giving myself space to understand that I am not perfect. That is a good thing. And you're not going to be perfect in everyone's eyes. And the reality is you just need to accept yourself for who you are rather than trying to be perfect, because what's perfect to you is different to someone else. For me, that is very much what self-love looks like, is that space, is that time, is that understanding, rather than expecting perfection.
I'd like to make it more fundamental. The immediate thought that jumped to my head was a sense of self-assurance mixed with a lack of care about what other people say when you're being authentically yourself. If you're confident in everything you do, then it doesn't matter what anybody says because you're doing it because you think it's right. And I think with the internet, it's so easy to say that somebody's wrong or prove that somebody's wrong, which automatically makes people less confident in things they want to say, because if they say something wrong, then they can just be proved wrong immediately by the internet or ChatGPT or whatever. But I think what that has taught probably 2 generations at this point is to be super cautious when you're saying things, because you're just going to get proved wrong and made to look like a fool. It's like, well, no, if you've got the confidence to say your thoughts and opinions, they are objectively right because your opinion can't be wrong. Facts can be wrong. But if you're comfortable enough with saying, like, first of all, pick your areas of expertise and stick in them. But if you have something that you know to be fact and you say it and you're later proved wrong, you've got to be able to accept the fact that you were wrong, and that's fine. because you were working with the best information you had at the time. But saying things with confidence and self-assurance, and knowing that whatever situation you go into, you're going to be the best version of you, just because you won't talk unless you believe in what you're saying. That takes a lot of self-love, but is the root there, I think. And then if somebody else says something that contradicts your opinion, that's fine. They can have their own opinions. It's like, you disagree with me because you don't want to live my life. Well, that's fine, because I don't want to live your life. It's that argument.
Yeah, self-assurance plays a big role. Absolutely. Almost fake it till you make it. But there's Jordan Peterson's rule. I can't remember which one it is. It's when stand up straight, shoulders back, head up. I mean, it's so simple, but it's so true. The power that gives yourself and outwardly portrays leaps and bounds. If you walk into a room and you're hunched over and you can't make eye contact and like, oh, what are other people going to think of me? Am I going to say the right thing? If you're objectively looking at someone that walks in a room like that, if you're a loving, kind, caring person, you might be like, oh, I want to bring them in. I want to help them. But you might just gloss over and be like, oh, well, this person is struggling, you know? Whereas if you walk in and you show confidence, not arrogance, but confidence, and you command the space that you're in and you make eye contact, your head's up, your shoulders back, people will treat you differently. And you'll treat yourself differently, which I think is the biggest factor, is treating yourself differently rather than other people treating you differently. Because again, it's that belief in yourself. Ultimately, you're never going to have everyone agree with everything you say all the time. And that is okay. It's hard because we want to feel accepted. We want to find our tribe. And unless your thoughts are unbelievably super outlandish, you will likely find your tribe. And you can feel safe and connected in that. And that will ultimately build self-assurance, self-confidence from within anyway, because your thoughts are being reaffirmed. But I also do definitely think there's something to be said, like you said, of pliability, the ability to admit when you're wrong, to be given new evidence and go, actually, okay, you know, like I outwardly say, I'm not religious. But if some form of God, whether that's any form of God or religion, came down and proved without a shadow of a doubt, I'd be like, well, I guess I'm religious now. You know, I was wrong. That's okay. It's okay to be wrong. And it's okay to change your opinion, because ultimately opinions are meant to change.
Yeah, the way you carry yourself, also when you see the way that other people treat you, you start to believe it more as well. Because, you know, you are actively having an impact in a room. And the fake it till you make it thing is brilliant. I love it. I've faked everything until I've got to where I am.
I think something that's also very interesting, again, Mark Manson's book states this, Chris Williamson reaffirms it all the time, is your actual identity. You lag behind that by 2 years on average. So where I actually am and how I actually present, I'm still living 2 years in my own identity of myself. Does that make sense? So if I view myself, if I'm inwardly looking at who I think I am, rather than looking at who I am now, I'm looking at who I was 2 years ago. Our perception of ourselves lags behind our identity by 2 years.
That's interesting, because I would have thought it was the other way. Because I'm trying to be me in 2 years now, rather than trying to be me 2 years ago. If that makes sense.
It does, but also when you think about what you've achieved, you know, I'm here telling you how incredible 100k subs is, and you're like, well, it's not that great. You're lagging behind. You've not yet allowed yourself to feel that emotion. It's only 2 years later you go, oh wow, that was amazing.
Yeah, I suppose it's hindsight. I suppose.
Yeah,
maybe 2 years is the
again. It's the ironic tragedy. If you heard Chris Williamson say this, oh, it's incredible. I love it. Incredible. So the ironic tragedy is life can only be lived forwards, but only makes sense in reverse. I love it.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Incredible.
What's interesting about milestones and goals is I think you mentally hit the milestone so far before you hit it, because you've got to be on the right tracks to actually hit the goal. So you can be doing all the same activities at 10k subs than you would be at 100k subs. But it's the activities at a 10k subs that get you there. Then at 100k subs, you start doing the activities that get you to 1 million subs. And then at 1 million subs, you start doing the activities that get to 10 million subs, and onwards and onwards and onwards. So you hit the goals so far before you achieve them. It's achieving the goal isn't the win. The win is working out how to get there. And then it's just, is the individual able to apply all of those skills and that solution in practice?
So again, it's the journey.
It's always journey. It's always a journey.
Rather than believing the goal is going to bring you happiness, find happiness from the struggle.